Hey y'all, this is Moni.
And this is Kat.
Hey Kat. And this is the Fake Ass Book Club. Wait, can we both say it or no?
All right, guys, welcome back. This is your girl, Moni.
And this is Kat.
And we're back at the Fake Ass Book Club. I'm excited.
I am too.
As always.
Man.
This is like our little time, friends. So,
It is.
what are we going to do this week?
I think we should talk about how to elevate.
Elevate.
I think we should.
I like elevation.
I think it's
That's
time,
nice.
man.
As long as there's rails on the
I need
side,
people
I'll
to
be
see the
scared to
view
hike.
from here.
Yeah, I'd be scared a little bit. But it's cool, though. You guys, we do have a guest today. We have
got a guest
Hicks.
today.
Yes, he's a fellow podcaster in our city, a father, author, entrepreneur, all the things. And I'm going to give him a chance to introduce himself formally. But before we do that, you guys, let's dedicate the show like we always do. Hands over your hearts. Everyone, thank you guys for joining us once again. Thanks to all of our supporters, specifically our patrons. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for supporting our creative projects. If you guys are interested in seeing more of us, you should sign up. I mean, hello. You got, I think maybe 4 or 5 videos already in the bank waiting for you.
You're already here. Go there.
I'm just saying, there's links in the bio. There's all the things. So if you guys are interested in joining our Patreon family, please do that. We have some really fun stuff. And let us know what y'all want to see. Y'all can help us figure out, you know what I mean? Like, that's a really great way to let us know what it is you like to see from us the most. Also, if you or someone you know has a business you want to promote, listen, holler at us. The holidays is coming up. We want to promote Black businesses, a Buy Black Christmas. So if there's anybody you think that could benefit from a little bit of some support, hit us up at Thefabpodcast@gmail.com. And also, you guys can send us a message on our Instagram if you want, if that works, or even our Facebook at the Fab Podcast. And what about you, friend?
Yes, and your dedication. I would also like to dedicate this to Indigenous people. This is Indigenous Peoples Month. We're on Indigenous Peoples land. And as we're going into the, Thanksgiving season, wouldn't hurt to maybe crack open a book or article about the original people who inhabited this land. They didn't wipe them all out. They tried. They're still here. And they have really good art and content and music and are really beautiful. So, yeah, Indigenous people, go.
I like
Oh, also known as Mexicans.
Wow, don't tell the truth.
Yeah.
For real, though. I can't say it enough. Y'all Google the Louisiana Purchase,
Yeah.
the Mexican-American War, all those things.
Yeah.
Is the dedication over? I feel like
I think it's over.
Yeah,
I think I really want to start talking to our guests.
Yes, you guys. So like I said, we have a special guest today. Damon, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
You're adorable.
I know, you feel so young. I know. It shouldn't be like that. You're a grown man. You're handsome and elegant.
Thank you.
Both.
Thank you.
Okay, all of the things.
Hilarious.
Very polished, put together.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Try
Check
to
out
be.
the
I
YouTube
try to
if you
be.
want to see how fancy he is sitting here right now.
Try to be.
So, Damon Hicks, thank you so much for your time today. We appreciate you coming out on a Sunday to kick it with us
Absolutely.
once again.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
So I want to say how we met just real quick. Definitely it was on social media. I started following your page because we follow a lot of the same mutual people, and I was seeing videos. I was seeing all this content. I'm like, oh, this young man looks put together, and it was very upbeat. And so we actually saw you at a podcast mix. Didn't really get a chance to connect, but after that, I just popped in the old DMs like, hey, we should link
Absolutely,
up. 'Cause
yeah.
I was really
Collab.
interested
Yep.
to hear about your story. That's
Thank
what we
you.
do here.
Thank
It's a
you.
Fake Ass Book Club.
So, yeah.
But-
So, what's the name of your podcast?
So my podcast is called Over the Top Podcast. Talks a lot about procrastination, defeating procrastinations. Have a lot of guests on there, young entrepreneurs, young philosophers, young intellects. Come on there and speak about how they overcame their trials and tribulations and how they defeated procrastination and took action on their goals.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like, that's some big energy. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a big thing because procrastination, that's something we all deal with. And
Absolutely.
that ain't always easy.
We usually wait until the panic monster kicks in, and it's like, oh, I better do something now before my life is in shambles.
Right, before
Yeah,
my life
definitely.
changes. My reality forces me. to
Definitely,
change.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, why did you name it that? You know what
Over the
I'm
top.
saying?
Nobody
So,
really asked for that,
Yeah,
but
I'm
I remember.
curious.
Well, when I first started, I really didn't know what name I wanted to name it, and honestly, I just came up with a name. So the procrastination thing. A lot of people think too deep on certain things. So it's like, all right, I want it to be over the top because the conversation should be over the top, which I thought they was. Some of them are, some of them ain't. But yeah, so I came up with that, and jumped straight into it. I remember when I first started it, someone told me that, oh, what's your pod gonna be about? And I was like, I don't really know. And it was like, oh, well, you need to figure it out first. My advice to y'all is your podcast is you, so just get in there and talk about whatever it is that you want to talk about. Yeah.
I like that. I think there's some truth in that too. I think you should have some intention going into it. Like if you know you like talking about a certain thing, you know, have a general idea, but don't let that stop you. I think that's what
definitely.
you're saying. Like,
yeah,
don't
definitely.
let
you have to put off the procrastination.
Just,
like I said, we've never let being unprepared stop us.
I would, but I mean,
that's why I use the collective pronoun we.
Thank you. Yeah, that's why I keep her around, man.
I think just the consistency, it'll make it all fall correctly up in the place.
So
Absolutely.
has it evolved? Like, so you started out with a certain, like you were saying, you start out with a certain idea, and then as things move, do you feel like your podcast has like sort of evolved over time?
Yeah, it definitely evolved because at first I didn't really know what I wanted to talk about. And so after I started getting feedback, because the first episode I did was about fatherhood, I think it got like 2 views, 2 listens. And I kept it up. And so then the next one I did something different, and the next one I did something different. And I started understanding what I wanted to talk about and what my audience wanted to listen to. And so I started talking more about that. And so like one of my top episodes was called Defeating Procrastination. Another one was called Time Away. And then another one was called Live in a Moment. And so those episodes helped me figure out, okay, this is what I like to talk about. I'm going to continue to talk about. And basically those just be conversations I talk about that got to do with me. So my perspective and the things that I went through. Just being transparent, because a lot of people love transparency. So
how long have you been doing it?
The podcast, only about I think that's my 2nd year.
Okay.
Yeah, so really not that long.
Because I think like the stat is most podcasts stop after 6.
6 months.
6 episodes.
6.
Damn.
I didn't know that. Dang.
Right, I was looking at like,
I can understand if you looking at the analytics, and because to be honest, if you're not really promoting yourself really, really heavily, a lot of people not going to tap in.
Yeah.
So me, I was flooding the timelines, and
Got you.
another thing I realized was there was the reviews. So when someone sent me a paragraph, because I was literally getting a paragraph like every week on my podcast. Not so much no more, but I was though. And so I think it was those conversations I was talking about that people could relate to a lot. And I was just doing solo ones. Now I do a lot of guest ones. But yeah, that helped me grow a lot in the podcast. Okay.
It's nice to get feedback too, though, because I feel
so
like
good.
sometimes, especially now, maybe this is different from you. I'm literally having a conversation with her every time we're on a show together. But like, if you don't have a guest, do you find it hard to talk? You know what I'm saying? Like, just to talk.
At first I did, because it's almost like you're talking to yourself.
Yeah, and especially people aren't responsive.
Right.
So it's like,
but I got into a habit of writing down what I wanted to talk about and really bring my energy and just my personality into it. So if I thought something was funny after I said it, I'm laughing.
Right.
And I know that the audience gonna hear it and be like, ha, he funny. Like, he really just got So yeah, it was difficult at first, but as you do things, you get used to it.
Find your voice. I think that's kind of what I'm hearing anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
That the more you do stuff, the more it starts
definitely.
So that's what's up. All right. So how would you say and we can move to the book after this, but how would you say the podcasting scene has been here in the Indy? Like, how do you find your fellow podcasters? Is it a welcoming community? Do you feel like it's hard to break in?
Let me see. I think a lot of people from Indianapolis in the podcast space, as long as you're doing something, they're open-handed. They're really nice people, and shout out to all the people that are doing the podcast thing. I think as long as you're doing something, they're gonna tap in with you. Yeah. Because I know quite a few of podcasters, and they all in their own lane, so it's like it's not a competition thing.
Right.
And I don't look at nobody as no competition. I just do what I do.
That's how to do it.
Okay, I have an impromptu question. So, I mean, obviously, other than us, if you could have anyone to interview on your show, who would it be?
So, I don't know if y'all guys heard. It's 2 people, actually.
You're cheating on the question, but
Okay, who's number 1?
It's really hard. Mm-hmm. Have you ever heard of this guy named 19 Keys?
19 Keys. No, but I'm about to look him up, though.
So, y'all got to go search up 19 Keys. He's like he's just somebody I look at as like a mentor and a person that I just like the way he carries himself. Y'all really got to look him up. Yes, that's him.
Well, you said him first, so that's who you really want. Okay, now who's
the second guy his name is Wallow. He has a podcast which is called $1 Million Worth of Game. You heard of the
I
podcast?
think I've
Wallow
heard of
sounds
the
familiar.
name of the podcast.
Yeah, $1 Million Worth of Game. They're a big podcast, and Wallow, he's just so down to earth. I really just want to have a conversation, just really digging deep into his story and where he come from. How do we think? How did he stay sane? All of that.
Got a good story then.
Yeah, I definitely. That's
Very good, very good.
yeah. Yeah, that's Wallow. He was in jail for a long time and got out and did a podcast with his cousin, and they podcast just blew up.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen this before too, though.
Yep. And
Fabulous.
I think they just got like a $30 or $40 million deal.
Nice.
Don't quote me on that, but it's somewhere in that for podcasting.
Really?
And I seen when they first started it, like it was like really went good. But now I seen where they're at now with it, so it's amazing seeing their journey.
Hey, that's
But them were the two people, 19 Keys and Wallow.
Okay. All right, very nice.
Even though I cheated on the question.
That's all right.
That's all right. That's okay. I got my real answers. Who you said first?
All right.
Okay.
So I want to kind of
19
transition.
keys.
My bad. Just saying stuff. My bad. So I wanted to transition though because we mentioned that you're an author and since it's a book
Yes.
club, we wanted to talk to you a little bit about your book. So tell us the title of your book. Tell us what your book is about.
Okay, so my book is called Keys to Elevate. It's a very short book. It's 3 chapters. Environment, positive thinking, and intentional action. I made it short intentionally because a lot of people in our generation don't read. And I got to the point in the book. So yeah, it's called Keys to Elevate. You can check it out on Amazon. And I also have it in the link in my bio where I would get 100% of the profit. That would be
There you
better.
go.
Thank you.
Yeah, just so you know, I did
It
get the
ma-
book.
would it make an
Oh, thank you.
excellent? Do you think it would make an excellent Christmas gift?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Just to elevate your thinking, because I think the first thing, well, I wrote the book based off a friend of mine's. He asked me, how did I change my mindset? How did I grow? And the first thing I thought about was my environment, switching the people you surround yourself with, also putting yourself around people that can help you grow. And that's what I did. I surrounded myself with people that can help me grow, connect me with different people, also expose me to different things, like financial literacy. I got exposed to last year by putting myself in those rooms. Intentional action, that chapter was just about being intentional about what it is that you want. So my main thing I like to tell people is write it down. So when you write it down, then you're being intentional. You're literally being intentional and you know exactly what you want. A lot of people say they want things, but do you really want it? And are you really going to put in the work? And that was something I asked myself because there was a lot of things that I said I wanted, but I wasn't going to put in the work. So I didn't really want it.
Yeah.
And then positive thinking. That chapter I kind of wish I could change around because I learned about this thing called toxic positivity, and that's a person that's almost delusional about life. It's okay to have good days and bad days.
about that on Black Lady Sketch Show.
Yeah.
Because she was
Well
like,
done.
yeah, girl, your hair's on fire. You working it. Like, it's just the
Well
idea of
done.
like, no, sometimes stuff's trash.
Yeah, you got to be honest, and that's life.
Yeah.
So
and that's how you learn. too,
Yeah.
sometimes like recognizing where you can make some changes.
Yeah,
But I
definitely.
think, reframing that for yourself. Okay.
yeah, I don't want people to take that positive thinking thing and just go far off with it. Because
Right.
no.
See, this is when you write your second book. You
Oh,
know, so
definitely,
part
definitely.
two.
I'm
You
working.
feel
Yeah,
me?
it's halfway done.
Yeah, man.
2023.
You know what I'm talking about? Well, I do think that's a good opportunity too, going into the new year with a new mindset. You know what I mean? Because
definitely.
I read it, and it is a really short read. Because I thought, oh my god, I ain't gonna have enough time to read this, but
Nah, you can read it
was
fast,
it's
yeah.
real quick, and I think I agree with what you put out there. Those are some really good keys. And so, how old are you?
25.
25 years old. You already got the keys.
No facial hair.
Dude.
everybody with
That's good. You got the key to youth. And
Yeah.
the keys to success. It looks like, but I feel like I admire that about you, because to be at a point at 25 where you feel like I am this intentional and I know what I want to do,
Mhm.
and you can articulate it, like you're ahead of the game out here, really. I think.
Thank you.
And so
Thank you.
that's super dope. When did you publish it? I don't think I saw
It was last year, September. Actually published on my birthday, September the 15th,
okay,
which I wouldn't
nice.
recommend nobody to do.
Okay, I bet. Why? Tell us why. What's the?
It overshadowed my birthday, so
okay. Well,
I thought it was like a super dope thing. Like, yeah, I'm about to drop a book on my birthday.
and that was it. It wasn't about your birthday. No
Nope.
more.
It was
Yeah.
about, you did congratulations on your book. I got more congratulations than happy birthday.
Yeah, I got you. Okay. Well, that's super cool. So, like, would you consider yourself like a reader? Like, do you read other books? Like, what are your?
Absolutely. I read 30 books last year.
Shut up.
Yup. Half financial literacy, half self-development.
Okay.
Did you ever read any like novels or like memoirs?
I think I read about 2, and I did enjoy them.
Whose were they?
I think it was Malcolm X bio.
Biography of
That's
Malcolm
considered.
X?
That's
Yeah.
considered no.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
memoir. Yeah.
What was the other one? I think it was called The Black Boy. I really enjoyed that one.
Okay.
We
deep.
always make the observation, because when we have gentlemen on the show and they recommend a book, it usually is something self-help or, it's nonfiction. And I'm always like curious. I'm like, why, conversely, usually women want something that's like story driven,
Yeah,
and
sure.
men usually are kind of, why? Give me the answer to why that is.
Since you got the kids,
I really do
you know
like
what I'm
I
saying?
really do like the story ones a little bit better because it'd be a lot of deep stories, in the stories.
Mm-hmm.
So
But the
I
data
would consider.
doesn't flesh that out, though.
Yeah,
Because
I
if you did
consider
30
The
books
Alchemist.
and 2 of them,
You read The Alchemist?
yeah.
Mhm.
Would that be considered?
That's yeah, it's not it's not
Still self-help though, huh?
It's fiction.
It's fiction.
Yeah, it's fiction.
Okay.
So that
Yeah, that's the
that
hero's
fits the
journey.
bill. Yeah,
for sure.
Basically.
Okay.
Okay, I just thought because I didn't know if there were any books that influenced you. So I mean,
I
a lot of the
was.
books that you were reading, are self-help and stuff like that. That's probably why you went that
Yeah.
route.
I say the book that really influenced me the most was 2 books: The Art of Communication.
Okay.
That one.
Yeah,
that,
For everyone listening, he just shook his head. Like,
Yeah.
that one was impactful,
Took it
Oh
apparently.
man, it was so many gems. And then the second book, excuse my language, it's called The Subtle Art of
I'm
Not Giving a Fuck
Oh,
by Mark Manson. Oh my
Mark
god.
Manson. Oh
I've
yeah.
had, that's on the list.
That is.
Oh
on
my
That's on the list.
gosh.
We'll have to have you cut back for that one, because you're
Yeah,
really,
for
you
sure.
shook. Yeah. Like,
Yeah, that one dramatically.
Okay.
I'm talking about
I have a
dramatically.
feeling I might already be doing that.
You probably are. I think you're nailing it. I think you do a really good job. I think I could take some notes sometimes. But because I be scared not to give a fuck sometimes, because it's like, nah, for real, like I'm not going to give a fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but no, I think it is. I think, because Mark Manson, I think he was a part writer on a book that who did he write a book with, Kat?
Will Smith.
Will Smith's book. His
Yeah, it
memoir
Will
was really
Smith.
good.
And so it had to be.
His
It
was
had to be
good.
good because Mark Manson, he crazy with the writing.
Oh.
Oh, you haven't read Will?
I haven't,
That's a
but
good-
I'm
I'm
pretty
curious.
sure it would be a great book because if he helped him
was.
write it,
Yeah.
Oh, there it
It
goes.
was-
Yeah, the
yeah.
subtle art. Not giving
So,
a
Yeah,
fuck.
that's good. I forgot that.
yeah, go read that book. I remember seeing it
Fun.
in the Uber, and I was like, "What's this book called?" And it was like, "Oh, I haven't got to read it." Everybody haven't got to read that book, but they got it.
So does it frustrate you that, like, people your age don't seem to want to read that much?
No, only because I kind of understand it, and I think we got so much that we could be looking at that they feel like they ain't got enough time to read. So my thing is read audiobooks. That was a lot of things I did last year too. With reading the physical, I listened to a lot of the audiobooks.
Right, because you're a father of 2?
Mm-mm,
1?
mm-mm.
I'm sorry.
I got a basketball team.
Oh, you're father of 5.
Wow.
Father of 5.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you don't have, like, a lot of quiet free time, I'm
No,
imagining.
none at all.
Okay, because we're rowing the parenting boat.
Yeah.
So, like, we mostly lean on
Audio.
audiobooks as well, because
Like, I have to.
basically just driving them places.
So what's your favorite audio
Absolutely.
or
I'm gonna
book?
let Moni go first.
I would say recently the books that got me, like how you was about the subtle art of not giving a fuck, was Eckhart Tolle's book, New Earth. Took me out. Like, I've listened to it probably 3 times. Like, I keep retaking it out at the library because I feel like I can't hear the messaging enough. And then also Brene Brown, Daring Greatly. And that's just about vulnerability
I'm gonna
and
have to
putting
read that
yourself
one.
out there. Like with that book, the second one, like I was on the second chapter and I had to push pause. I was like, okay, so I'm being dragged currently. She is literally reading me right now. Like, I
was
just
that
felt like
good?
it was for me, again, like these are just books that affected me. So like I would say those were 2 of the most impactful books that I have revisited. Both of them, I've revisited them. But like fiction books, I would say, I really like Feast of All Saints. I like historical
But
fiction.
that is fiction.
Historical fiction, yeah. That's what I meant, yeah.
But we haven't
That's
even
one
read
of my
those on
faves.
the podcast yet. None
No,
of
we
those.
haven't.
Yeah, we need to do
It's
all
okay.
of
There's
those.
so many books. I mean,
There
that's why we'll
are.
never run out of shit to talk about.
Right.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
What was yours?
Yeah.
Okay, so my favorite book we actually did on the podcast, which is Cola Booth's autobiography, Diary of a Lost Girl. She's the former mistress of Osama bin Laden, and she's a very interesting story.
Yeah, she was.
A Sudanese American writer.
It did not seem like a real book.
It did. It
seemed
felt like when we talk about, we have a segment called Stranger Than Fiction.
It
Her
was
entire
real.
life is Stranger Than
It
Fiction.
definitely was.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to read all 3 of those books.
Yeah.
Let y'all know
It's
what
a
I
lot.
think
We'll give you a
about it.
list.
Okay.
But see, that's what I like about books, though. I think that, like, people who you might connect with that you think you have nothing in common. If you've read a book, boom, right there. You know,
Definitely.
You know, especially the opposite sex, because like if you're like myself, I don't really love sports. I told my son, he was like, "What sports do you like?" I said, "Whichever ones you play." Shit, I don't I don't really care. I'll be invested when somebody is doing it that I care about. Outside of that, I'm not. I get it. I think it's cool and everything or whatever, but not enough like
not
to
to
really
sit down
watch
and watch it and care.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But maybe that's how people feel about books sometimes. But I like that books can be a bridge for open communication. And you know, you can there's so many, like you said, there's always a story inside of the story, and almost always there's part of that story that you can connect to.
And it'd be so deep,
It's our shared humanity.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, because you're like, man, everybody's rowing the same boat.
Listen, we all out here. We all need the keys, and we all trying to find
them.
And Damon got them. You know, so he out here with them keys, though.
Couple of them.
You know what I mean? So you did say that you are really working on the second book. Is that
yes?
Right? Oh, okay.
I actually been working on it since last year. So we in 2022. Yeah, I was working on it in 2021, and that one is going to be real controversial because I did read all them self-help books, and I feel like it's a lot of mind-playing games that they do on people in those books, and I really want to
tell the truth.
Yeah, I'm being there, and they gonna be like, whoa, and I feel like it's gonna help them elevate it a little quicker because of what I wrote and the harsh truth.
I love harsh truths.
Yeah.
But I say them in a nice way, so it takes people by surprise. But yeah, life is real, so a lot of times people don't want to hear about it. But
the truth hurts.
It does. Oh, that was Eddie Huang. One of his quotes I liked. It's like, the truth will set you free, but first it'll piss you off.
Yeah, definitely.
In real life. So, so of all of your many jobs, because, you know, we talked about podcaster, we talked about books, you're a dad. What is the hardest job that you have? Like, what do you think has been the most, like, challenging job that you've been tasked with so far?
I think, if you could call it this, managing the time for all of those. And
yeah, you can call it that.
The sacrifices. So like this year I was thinking like, I think I'm going to give myself, I ain't said this publicly, but I was like, I think I'm going to give myself one more year because I got so many kids. And it's like, I was like, who could I even ask advice for that got that many kids at this age when I'm trying to go after this? But I still have to provide for my kids. So working a 9 to 5 still, while doing all these things. Like, most people don't even know I work a 9 to 5 because I do so many different things.
Right. They think this is your full-time boy right here.
Yeah, no, so I'm father. Yeah, well, it is. Yeah, so I do this, the father, and do the 9 to 5. So I got to the point where, like, next year, I'm going all in. So that's why I'm taking my hiatus in January so I can prepare mentally, physically, spiritually. Won't be reading no books, won't be going to no events, won't be doing anything other than working out, spending time with my kids, and spending time with self so I get prepared for this year. And I'm going to put my all in. Like, they going to be like, hey.
You ain't going to be ready, huh?
Yeah, nah.
Come back like Thor with the hammer.
That's good, though. That's really
but
good.
Yeah, I
like
think time managing, that's the hardest.
Time management.
Just logistics.
Boy.
Yeah.
Tell me
that's
about
very
it.
Real.
Yeah, you just got me right there. You got me. I'm in there with you because we were just talking about, balancing it all. Like, how do you do that? How would you? Because here's the one thing people see, like you're saying, you're putting out content like crazy. Like, this is a whole job. We were talking about this before we started to record, and just how much time you spend producing a podcast. I mean, you've got two. One is video, one's audio. One is a more visual one. But you're writing books. You're a parent. Like, all of that shit takes time. And because your stuff looks so polished, people tend to not understand how much work that goes into it. You know what I'm saying? So what kind of advice would you give somebody that's trying to go into the spaces of, where you're going as far as all of your creative projects?
So shout out to my friend Misha. She told me this because I asked her that this year. Okay. How do I, put myself in a position? And this is what she told me. You got to really be intentional about your time. Literally make your own schedule. So I was like, okay. I talked to my children's mother. What would be the best times for me, to do the podcast, do the content and stuff? So we came up with the schedule. My schedule is Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. Monday, 7 p.m., Wednesday, 7 p.m., Saturday, 11 a.m. Outside of that, I'm not available. So you got to literally, to me, make your time. And if people hit you about, what about this time? Like, somebody hit me up Friday and wanted to come do my podcast Saturday at like 12:30 or something. I was like, can't do it. What can I pay you? Can't do it. It's my time with my baby girls. Yeah. So I say that, make your time, schedule your time, and stick with it. Yeah, that was something that helped me dramatically because before then, I would ask people, so when is your availability? And they had said crazy time, and I'm like, okay. instead of being like, all right, this is my availability. I'm gonna send you my schedule.
Yeah.
Well, you don't got a ton. Nope.
Yeah, that's some good advice right there too. Because I think, especially when you're, you have to co-parent and you have to be cognizant of their mom's time and what she's got going on too.
Yep,
so,
exactly.
Yeah, finding that balance. I mean, even us just getting here was kind of like we were going back and forth about, when we could make it happen. But that's why we schedule. Usually we have it scheduled when we're going to record at a certain time, just so everybody feels like they can. Whatever else they have to get done, we can just be here and be plugged in or whatever. So I think that's solid advice. That's definitely
what I'm hearing is boundaries.
Yeah, boundaries
yeah, definitely.
Too.
Yeah.
Being intentional and having the boundaries, that'll definitely help you.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I like it. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. Okay, so let's see. What else did I want to ask you today? While we
do you have any questions for us?
Oh
yeah. And I think everybody would want to hear this. I've been asking a lot of people this just in general. What keeps you sane? After
Who said I was sane?
Ooh,
damn.
that was a
Damn
good. Ooh, call me out, boy.
Like,
Well, it looked like you saying. I mean,
right?
Like
front fast shit.
I'm pretty sure you've been through things, and I'm pretty sure you. I don't know if you're going through anything now, but what keeps you sane when you're going through those things? Books.
Seriously, like reading other people's experiences really lets you know that you're not alone. Because a lot of times when you are going through stuff, you feel that way. But after a while, like we read books from people all over the world, and they're all having the exact same problems. Absolutely. It's usually men. And so
I was waiting for this.
Hilarious.
But really, really, that's usually the problem. And conversely, men, when they write books, the problem they're having is women or whoever their romantic partner is. Like that is what most people are dealing with. People in refugee camps are like, man, I met this guy and he hasn't called me back yet.
It's relationships,
like, really?
The
like you are in a refugee camp. That's what you're worried about right now? But yeah, like for serious. So books. I'm actively in therapy.
What do you feel about that?
I love it.
Would you recommend it?
Oh, definitely. I wouldn't say just therapy, though. I think a lot of people think like you'll get in therapy and it'll be like, oh, I'm better. It's really just talk therapy. It's similar to podcasting because sometimes when you say stuff out loud, it's totally different than the story that's running in your head. When you have to write something, when you have to say it out loud, you're literally using a different part of your brain. So it activates that, and then a lot of times certain logic starts firing that wasn't before. So I definitely recommend therapy, but also just whatever works for you. I also paint. To me, that's like a form of meditation. I do a lot of self-care. Like when you talk about like what you have timed out and the time management, like I take it very seriously when it's like, okay, this is the time I have to take care of myself. This is the time where I have to rest. So yeah, that's what I do. Money, what you do?
I'm just gonna put it out there for all y'all who struggle with that. Like I don't always hit the mark on self-care. Like I really don't.
You're losing.
Why is that?
Taking all your coins.
It's because procrastination. It's never my priority. Like it's everything else is always, like, well, let me do this first, and then before you know it, it's like I'm falling asleep trying to, in the middle of doing something.
You're very good about your hair, though. That is self-care.
That is true.
You are very, very good about that.
Because I don't want to be bald-headed, though.
But I'm just saying, a lot of people don't do that.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I'm just saying that the suffering is
that's
so.
True. That
I
is
wouldn't
self-care.
discount your self-care entirely because I've observed you for quite some time, and you're very diligent about that.
That definitely.
Like the
but in
uplifting.
terms of thank you. See,
she's just so hard on herself.
That's it. That's the part. Well, I think that for me, it feels like I have certain expectations, and sometimes I think I could relax a little bit more. So, but when I am being good to myself and being like, okay, what keeps me sane is really it's my friendships. It's this podcast sometimes because again, like it's my talk therapy
section, yeah.
Because I mean, Fake Ass Book Club is code for like let's talk, friend. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes there's a book, sometimes it's not, but just taking time to connect with my loved ones, me and my husband after the kids are asleep, being able to just sit and really connect and talk and. Just get stuff off your chest. I think that really, really helps. And when I'm really being fancy shit traveling, that's really how I love. Yeah, like when I can get away and stuff like that, I really enjoy traveling. Like I have wanderlust. I want to go everywhere. I want to see the world. So so I think, traveling when I can. But when I can't, books end up having to do that. Because it's like, I'm stuck at the house. So what trip am I going to take? It's like, well, let's see what they're doing over here.
That's our answer. When we are sane,
Books.
that's what keeps us sane.
Yeah.
Not always sane and giving myself permission and just not be okay all the time. Because that's an unreal. Like you said, that can be toxic positivity.
It is.
Where it's just like, I'm supposed to be okay all the time. No, when things are upsetting me, I'm upset. So, just allowing myself to feel all the feelings. I have all of
true
those.
too.
So, what keeps you sane?
Ooh.
Back at you now.
That was a good one. Yeah. I think the gym.
Mm-hmm.
I think the person that I see in the future, the me I see in the future.
Oh, future you.
Yeah, future me.
Okay.
The potential of me.
That's important for your psychological health, thinking about your future self.
Yeah.
It said you're actually more likely to start an investment account if you see a picture of yourself aged up.
Absolutely. I think also my baby girls, they the reason I stay sane every day. Like, to me, in my head, the reason I'm here right now and what I'm doing now is for my baby girls. That's what keep me sane. So, yeah. We got
it
some
maybe
time.
drives you crazy a little bit too, imagine.
It definitely does.
I have one daughter and I feel like I'm struggling. Like, I'm not struggling, but like, it's just so much work. Actually, I do feel like I'm treading water. Like, we're my head's above water, but I'm like, any moment, man.
Yeah. I mean, I think those.
And maybe it's
break
different
down
because you're their
moments,
dad, and
Yeah.
like they probably do whatever you say. Like,
He's
no,
like, "Yeah, pretty much."
yes, no.
Do you notice a difference between how
Yeah.
they interact with their mom and you?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yo, because we just had that conversation, my husband and I was like, listen, because it's the same thing. It's like, he was just like, yeah, I mean, like, before you get here, sometimes they're on a whole different wavelength, and then you get here and they're directing certain stuff towards you. There's certain shit they want you to know.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying, that they haven't said to me all day.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the frequency changes when I'm interacting with my kids. I mean, my son and my daughter, but yeah, man, kids are just it's a delicate thing. You know what I'm saying?
It's
Like,
interesting to be
trying
your first
to-
podcast about parenting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Man,
I can imagine that. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but I feel like I interrupted you. You said you were gonna say about the sanity.
Nah, I don't forget what I was about to say. Well, I know what I was about to say, but a lot of people ask me what it's like having kids. This is my thing. I think it's like this. Have you ever carried water in the house? Now imagine never putting that water down.
when your hands be sweating, tired, like
All the weight on your shoulders, just never
Yeah.
imagine never doing. That's what it feel like having kids.
yeah. I would describe kids as like, it feels like somebody takes your heart. It's like your heart personified. Like if somebody took your heart outside your chest and turned it into a person, and it's like out here in the world.
Yeah,
and you're like,
definitely.
wait a minute.
Yep. They forever in your mind,
Yeah,
like right
like-
now.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. So they keep you motivated, and they.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
Like, it's the
definitely.
relationships thing. Like, even if it's your kids, if it's your romantic relationships, we're always working through some kind of. There's always tension. Not necessarily bad tension. You know what I mean? But there's
Mhm.
always an exchange that's happening, an energy
Mhm.
exchange, and
It's the work
It's-
of that love.
it's the work of
because the love
love.
is
God,
work, and
it
sometimes,
is.
like you said, that's the carrying the water.
Yeah.
Because
Ooh,
that's
the
why it's
pressure.
like, oh my
Ooh.
goodness, it's like, ooh.
Yeah, man.
We-
Pressure makes.
But I
diamonds,
did
though.
notice I have a son and a daughter. I had my son first, and I did notice my view of the world changed after I had my daughter in a way that it didn't when I had my son,
Wow.
because I was all of a sudden way more afraid for her than I was for my son in a lot of ways.
That's deep. I can understand though. I can understand because my baby girls, I'm overprotective. Like,
You're probably regular protective, like the appropriate amount of protective.
yeah. I just want my daughters to always feel comfortable enough to come to me. That's my biggest thing. Like, you'll never be in trouble with me if you was ever in a position where when they get older, if they had a boy house, they somewhere they really not supposed to be, call me.
Yes.
I'm not gonna
I
be mad
just
at you
had
at
this
all.
conversation with my daughter, like
Yeah.
where it's like, I know you're worried about getting in trouble, but I'm worried about real trouble.
Yeah.
You
Thank
don't have to
you.
worry about me.
Like,
Yeah,
I'm actually
nah.
on your team.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like as soon as
Call
you know
me,
something's
yeah.
my son did do that one time. I was like, wow, I really, really appreciate this.
Definitely.
Like,
That's good too.
yeah, I was like, as soon as you get there, just let me know. I'm gonna send you an Uber.
Mhm.
You'll be all right. But it ended up working itself out.
Yeah, man.
So yeah,
That's
the cop
good,
showed
that
up
is
before he
good.
got there.
Cause and too, my kids. I mean, and just in general to people, I feel like trusting your instincts and your intuition in those situations. Like, you hope that you can impart that on your kids, cause you want them to know how to think.
Right. Not
know?
just obey me.
Yeah, like, know how to,
critical,
like-
critically, like
Yeah.
situational. We talk about that all the time. Situational awareness with the kids. It's like, you got to be. Can't just be like, It's like no. It's like
Diligent. Are them doors locked?
Yeah,
I'm like, hey,
definitely.
you know what I'm saying? Like just being aware of yourself and your surroundings.
just want to
and
mitigate the danger. That's all you can do in
100%.
life. Because my daughter did say that to me one time. She was like, I don't feel safe. I'm like, you're not.
I was gonna be like, you want to be
You're
like, well,
not
technically,
safe. Like, you can just be brave. Like, that's your option.
that's it. You ain't lying. So you have the whole sports team. How many are girls versus boys?
All right, so 4 girls, 1 boy.
What's the ages on there? Yeah.
It's like the Cosby Show.
Yeah, okay.
6, 4, 3, 1 and a half, 1, and then 3 months. The son I just had. Nobody even know. I ain't posting on social media.
Well, yeah, he's
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Wow.
Junior, I don't know how to feel about it. It don't feel real yet.
Children are very surreal.
It
Like,
is.
once
It's
again,
our
like,
body.
you're just like, oh, like, why did someone, like, allow this? I feel like there should have been paperwork.
In real life,
Like,
it was like, say, I'm just gonna let me leave the hospital. A person in the back of my car. That's weird.
Yeah, so that's the basketball team.
Damn.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
so
beautiful.
that's why I said my mind be a lot. So it's like the sacrifices I'm making.
Yeah.
Who do I call and be like, hey, you had goals and dreams before, right? And you had 5 kids. No, I don't
It's
know
like, no,
nobody.
my
I can
dreams
call.
died when my kids got here.
Exactly.
I think for a lot of people that
Yeah.
is the reality though, because again, like finding that balance, I don't know that there really is a balance. If we're being honest, there's
Yeah,
really
I don't
not.
think
Like
it is
there's
either.
because Kat will always say, we can have it all, just not at the same time.
Ooh, that's a gem.
You know what I mean?
I
That is.
got
we'll put
that
it on
from
a t-shirt.
somewhere.
Yeah,
but
well,
that's a gem
but
though.
the fact
Yeah.
that it's in my consciousness.
Got that from Sex and the
now.
City.
Let's go. Whoever the
You can
writers
have
were,
it.
shout out to
You might hear me
y'all.
say on my podcast.
Do it, say it, borrow it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because it ain't mine either, but I think it's solid because
That's
it's like
true.
you're right. There's always gonna be something that isn't happening when you want it to happen, and sometimes it's just like being present with where you are now. You know, I think that can be really hard too with kids, even being present with them because you know you have so much stuff. So it is good. You do have to be intentional about your time.
And
you
that's
know?
great, taking a break in January
good for
just
you.
to.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm ready.
No
I bet
doubt.
you are.
No doubt.
I would do it in December if I didn't have so much already planned out. But
Yeah.
January, I can't wait. I'm excited.
And it's good, too, because that's an example for them, too, because they'll remember. It's like, I remember that time my dad took a break and, you know, like that.
Everything, yep.
Because they children do what you do, not what you say. And that's when I had to, like, make
Whoa.
changes. And having a daughter, I'm like, I had to make changes because I'm like, she's going to do what I do. I was like, what am I doing?
I know. But now, yeah, that's real, boy. 'Cause you be like, damn, I don't need y'all doing that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like parenting yourself through your kids a lot of the time. At least that's been my experience. And, you know, that does make me more cognizant of, like, okay, how I'm
moving.
talking to myself. Yeah, how I'm moving, what I'm demonstrating to them. Because, people, I mean, I remember that as a kid, looking at some grown-ups like, how are you giving me advice?
I love
You're a
that.
mess. You know what I mean? Like, and that's not to say that you have to be perfect to give advice, but I do think it packs more of a punch when you see it personified. Like,
Nobody
yeah.
wants like
Absolutely.
a sloppy
I look up
personal
to that.
trainer.
Absolutely.
Like,
Yeah.
no one's gonna go to somebody out of shape and be like, "Could you train me?" It's like, no, this wouldn't be wise. They might know, but
Yeah.
I'd rather see somebody with results.
Yeah, somebody who's actually demonstrating, at least on some level, not perfectly even, but just at least has some
Or shows me it's
practical-
possible.
Yes,
Like,
that
that's
part.
what I mean. Like, yeah, you gotta know, like, this is real.
Absolutely. So let me ask you this: where do you see your business? You're saying, you know, you're taking your break, you're coming back out. What's your 5-year? Like, what does it look like? What does your business and your creative endeavors take you in the future?
Well, I see my podcast really growing next year because of the way I've been noticing different things about it, and my audience has been listening to it. So I see that growing real fast. Only because I've been asking a lot of people what they think I should be doing differently. I got this from, I don't know, y'all know the guy Elon Musk. He was like, start asking the people around you what they think you should be doing differently. So I've been doing that. And a lot of people been saying, like, you need to go out of town. You need to start going global with it, start talking to people. One young lady told me yesterday, like, I think you ride for Naptown too hard. She was like, she was like, you move like they owe you. I mean, like you owe them something or something. I was like, So I'm thinking, well, this year I'm gonna give my all. So what I mean by that is I'm taking my podcast and my second show to put on outside the city, start collaborating with a lot of people, putting myself in those rooms where I can gain some knowledge and wisdom from other people that's doing things that's on another level. Because that's how, the first thing in my chapter was environment. So changing the environment to grow, do the same formula thing. And I think that'll help me grow. And I'm going to just put my all into next year traveling. I'm going to continue to invest. I actually do invest every week. So if I was y'all, I would invest. Even outside of, I would invest in myself every day.
Yeah,
but,
good.
yeah, so I'm just planning on really just staying intentional, really planning everything that I got and evolving and expanding it. So I got a clothing line as well. I kind of got it on pause, but the website is still up. It's called thewin.clothing. Which promotes a lot of positivity on the shirts and stuff, like growing mentally, physically, spiritually. That's on the shirt. Elevate, that's on the shirt, stuff like that. Okay. But yeah, I plan on just expanding and evolving.
I like it. So do you see yourself like on a national, like collaborating like more in TV, or do you like the audio space more? Because there's so much content out here. There's so many different avenues of like getting your content out. How do you see that? You see yourself with like the Hicks show, you know what I'm saying, morning show, radio stuff? Like
honestly, I do love being on the camera, and that's all fun and stuff like that. But I want to be behind the scenes now. Yeah. Because I think the position I want to put myself in is I want to be financially free on a real level. So I've been looking at things like this. Yeah, I have a podcast and I podcast out of place, but that's not my space. Right. So who's winning, the person that's on camera or the person that's behind camera? Right. So it's just like the NBA. LeBron James made $30 million, but how much did he make the NBA? He made them a lot. Right. The actors be making $5 and a whole bunch of millions, but who produced the movie? Like who really? Right. So who are the real creators? Yeah, it's the people that's creating opportunities.
Keep getting paid off.
Right. Yeah, and that's gonna. I'll give you another example. Y'all heard of Breakfast Club? Yes. Yep. So the people that's on that show, everybody knows Charlamagne and God and all them, Angelique, all them. But who owns the actual station? That's who's making all the money. They got their fame. But
and that syndication money is where it's at.
Yeah, so I want to create opportunities. So that's what I'll be doing in the next couple of years, creating opportunities for other people. Being behind the scenes.
That's definitely creates longevity. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to learn, like we were just talking about how when you say podcasting, for instance, your production, your sound, your lighting, if you're doing the camera stuff, like there's so many different aspects. And because people, I don't know, people do tend to put a premium on being in front of the camera, you know what I mean? And wants to get out there. So, I think you might be winning with that. There's nothing wrong with it. I think it's good too, but I agree with you that that's a good way to go because, you're learning so many skills when you're in these spaces and stuff. And if you can take that and make it to where it's like, okay, I can be back here doing this and give people opportunities.
And then having the experience of being on, I feel like doing all the jobs. I feel like that's something The Office did a lot. Like a lot of their writers were also actors, were also producers, were also directors. Like everybody knew each job. That's so it was easy to communicate because I feel like that's something that's so huge too. We talk about what it takes to elevate. Like a lot of times it's communication. Like it really doesn't do any good if I can't communicate to you. It's like, oh, we need, this type of file. And it's like, I don't know what that is. Like, it makes it nice. And then it's kind of like, ugh,
Yeah, absolutely, man. So
I'm excited for that too, to be behind the scenes, just give opportunities. Because honestly, that's what everybody wants. Be honest, like probably a lot of people, that probably hit you or they want to come on y'all show that probably don't have anything going on for themselves. They just want to come and have an opportunity.
Just to talk,
Yeah, they want the light shined on them, and ain't nothing wrong with that. But I want to be the person that's given the opportunity. Come on the show. I want to create another podcast just for people to come on.
So then what would you say, what was the best advice you got as far as starting all of this up? Like, what was the catalyst where you finally was like, I'm not letting procrastination be the thing? Like, what was...
Okay, shout out to Willie Dynamite. He told me to jump out the plane and build your parachute on the way down. A lot of people be worried about how it should look, what it should look like. It ain't gonna be perfect in the beginning. Nobody's stuff usually is. But taking them steps to make you appreciate taking the steps. Don't let that go over your head. No, it helps you appreciate every level. Because once I started getting listeners, I was like, dang, I got 10 listeners. To somebody else, that might not be a lot, but they could be doing a lot of other things, Netflix, YouTube, Facebook. So Yeah,
I mean,
think.
move from 2 to 10. You know.
Yeah, that-
Yeah,
it's
that's
5 times
upward
people.
mobility.
That's, if you're doing a chart, that's in the right
What up?
direction.
Yeah, so I heard another quote where a guy was like, my preparation is somebody else's destination. So look how far y'all already come.
Right,
Some
right,
people
right.
still trying to figure out, hey, how I'm going to get to that next step. But I think procrastination, I think a lot of people overwhelm themselves by thinking too far ahead. And it's just the first step. Just take that first step. That's the first step to
Charlamagne
matter.
put that in his book. Put the weed in the bag. Like, that's where you got to
Put
start.
the
at.
weed in bag.
I mean,
Okay.
it was, to me, good
That's
advice. I
simple.
know it's
Yeah.
a black privilege, and I mean, really even starting this podcast, because he talked about how he got started. It was a bunch of grainy footage on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
you know, it was, and even if you think about the first season of The Chappelle Show, that was terrible
Man,
production.
it really was.
Like,
but it
going
was
back
still
and looking, it was
good.
good content, though.
Yeah.
Like, that's what they, it was like, okay, let's keep this going, and then the next season, they got the money, but,
Literally just do it.
yeah, like, just put don't literally,
I think literally just do it because you'll figure it out as you go.
yeah.
I mean,
Or
definitely.
you'll figure out it
And
ain't
you'll
for
make
you.
the mistake
Yeah.
and like don't, because I mean I'm sure that what has been the biggest L you've taken so far
I think.
with the podcast,
Okay, I think it was. It might have been.
because we gotta learn how to fail too. Like everybody wants to learn how to win.
Oh, okay. It was trying to be a mentor. I think.
Okay.
That was because I didn't understand, like, I guess the business side of it. I wanted to help people, but I didn't understand how to structure it.
Gotcha.
And so I was losing, and I was giving more than I was receiving out of it. So,
How'd
guys,
you cut that out?
how did I cut it out?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess the last month I had just like stopped, and after because they got so much out of it, they just took their card off and file. Because I had it on a subscription thing, but they just took their card one by one after they got everything they needed because I was giving them so much.
Right.
And so then
So
I
you
was
weren't
like,
charging enough.
exactly.
Gotcha.
And the guy was looking at myself like, you are tripping.
Yeah,
But
like
I
you
think
giving
that
it all
happens.
away.
We undervalue ourselves
Yeah.
like quite a bit. So that's good to know.
That's good that you mentioned that too, not giving it all away. You know what I'm saying? Like, and recognizing that, and pivoting shit, boundaries
But
are
I
important.
say that's why I like to tell a lot of people this too, just because I think a lot of people get into that identity crisis thing when y'all look at so many different people on social media too much. And I feel like I was in an identity crisis. I'm like, I want to be a mentor because I was looking at influencers be mentors. I want to come out with courses because I was looking at the influencers come out with courses, but that wasn't for me. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I feel like it's weird though, because everybody wants to be an influencer, but it's like, what exactly do you have? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That is so influential. You know what I mean? Not to say we can't learn something from everybody, but I do think it gives you a delusional state in a way
No, you're right.
because you're inundating yourself, with, again, like imagery is way more powerful than you could ever imagine, like on
Yeah.
your subconscious. So you're already taking in that you should be this, you should be that.
Yeah.
But like what you're saying, you're taking that break.
Mm-hmm.
Like that reset button, that time to really like focus in on your intentions and hone in on like what are you passionate about? What would you spend your time doing for free? You
That's
know,
why I ain't read no books, not listen to no podcasts or anything.
Just
so
my own thoughts.
Be a
altered.
friend.
yeah, and that is important. I mean, and like you said, I mean, the younger generation, like with the books and stuff like that, everything's it's just so easy. Like information is so easy, and I don't know. Like I think the book reading process, or even just taking in those different narratives, sometimes are helpful because it gives you another way of looking at something. Like don't you feel like the media ends up being like the same shit recycled over and over
No,
and over,
definitely.
and over again?
Everybody's
all
doing the
time?
same thing
Same
on social media.
shit.
They got the caption with the words speaking
Yeah,
motivational, positive. You be like, I know you're in real life. Nah,
Yeah,
just
but for
No,
real,
but
for real.
though.
Yes,
They're not
that's-
the same offline.
And I think the thing is, a lot of people are trying to be influencers when real influencers, they're just being. Malcolm X was just being himself. He wasn't trying to be an influencer. He just influenced the whole world. Tupac was being it. I think he was, but he was being himself, so he got influenced. So me,
And I speak for Indianapolis. I'm sorry, Tupac, when you came here.
I know that
terrible.
was
I was
real
thinking about
bad.
that the other day in the car. I was like, man, that's why people don't come here.
know.
Damn.
yeah. But I just be myself, and I think once you're yourself, that's when you can become influential. To me,
Definitely.
I think I don't know, maybe wrong. I don't know. That's just my perspective.
No, I agree with you. I think authenticity is what people end up gravitating toward, and there's no way to do that other than just to be yourself.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I think that you might really got the keys though.
Yeah,
You might really got the keys, friend. You know what I mean? Well, I don't know. Do you have anything else you wanted to ask?
I do. It's a kind of deep question. I don't know how much time we got.
What's up? What's the question? We got time.
So I was thinking about this. I want to ask some people this. Yeah. How you feel about forgiveness, and do you think that's something that can really happen? I mean, without
Cat go, because I think she always has a good answer for this one.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yes.
I want to know if like
forgiveness questions.
Yeah.
I mean, comments. Yeah. You. What do you always say? Every single time.
What do I say? Your body belongs to you.
That, but no. Yes, you do say that. I just feel like I've heard you say over and over again, just like forgive your parents.
Oh yeah,
forgive your
parents.
like
yeah,
forgive.
Your life immediately gets better when you forgive your parents.
Yeah. So specific. I don't know if you mean if anybody in particular, but
isn't letting someone off the hook per se.
So how do you?
So forgiveness is. I mean, it has a lot of different definitions, but a lot of times it's just letting go of the idea that the past can be different. So, like, for me, like, with let's say my exes, for instance, like, because each of my children have different fathers. I've had to forgive them, and they've had to forgive me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to, sometimes get past stuff so that you can function. And because there's no other path forward. So, like, for me, like, but that doesn't mean that they're back in my life. So, like, you can forgive people. Like, so even when I tell people to forgive your parents, that doesn't mean that they belong in your life or they're allowed a spot in your life. But, like, a lot of times you're just like, okay, this doesn't control me anymore. And so, or I don't have that anger maybe a little.
That's what I was saying.
Like, you know what I mean? Because we're just people. Yeah, but the idea of like, I'm giving up revenge. It means that's forgiving.
Okay,
that's my version of forgiving. Because a lot of people do want revenge for the people who've hurt them. Because what was I forget what I was watching.
So maybe, good. I mean, let's talk about it.
No, I was just thinking today too, because I was telling my daughter she was going on a little activity with her friends, and I was like, yeah, I need your parent, the parents' phone number,
right,
and
all
stuff.
the contacts.
So I need to be able to give a timeline to the authorities if something happens, and I need to be able to have violent retribution to the people.
Okay, so I can tell exactly who the hell we need to go get.
Exactly, because it's like, it's like, what, you don't want me to say violent retribution on people? She's like, of course. It's like, yeah. Okay. But no, like, usually it just means, that was Game of Thrones, where Tyrion was like, because he was like, what, am I just supposed to forgive my enemies? It's like, your enemies are the only ones who need forgiving. So it's like, like the people who've wronged you, those are the only people that you give forgiveness to. So that's my long answer.
Okay. So what's your answer?
No, he has to.
I have to answer first?
You got to ask what. First off, what's your definition of forgiveness, and is it a good idea?
I think it is. I think it has to happen on your own time, though. Yeah. I think that forgiveness is when you can get to a place where you make the decision to, like you said, not be in the past with somebody. Because, like, I've had to forgive certain things. And if the answer to my question, do I want this person to my life, if it's still yes, then that forgiveness involves me really, for real, letting go of that. And willing myself to be present with that person. Because if it affects how I am in my present with you, then it's like we can't really have a relationship. You know what I mean? Because I don't like fake relationships. I don't like to be, especially like inner space ones. Like I don't want to have any pretense. And I think it can be tricky with your parents and stuff.
You don't like high-ass, fake-ass conversations?
Not really. No, not really. Hell no. That's the worst.
Yeah, I done seen a lot of those.
Yeah. Oh, I wear earbuds in public now because that's what most stuff is. It's just high-pitched.
I don't want that.
Fakeness,
that ain't my favorite.
Like,
I don't enjoy that. So it's like if I know that I can't get, if it's something that I can't get past, either I know it needs more time. Because sometimes it's just time. Like sometimes it's literally just time. Because time will shift your perspective on certain things, and then with that time shift, you can see it from a different lens, and so maybe it's easier to give that person grace in those scenarios. But I feel like if I can't be present with you, then I probably don't have forgiveness with you. So I say it takes a lot of patience, and it's really more for you because, like she said, I mean, you can't really go anywhere. Like if you're letting your feelings, like if it's always just about
which
that.
I have.
Listen.
It does feel good. Like it's a very satisfying, like seething rage.
I'm saying this as a person who there are certain people like right now, if I saw them, I have nothing for you. Not that I'm going to do anything. I just don't, like I don't have a conversation. Yeah, I don't wish you any harm, but I also don't want to interact with you. I'm not going to because it would be fake. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to spare both of us that. You know what I'm saying? So So there are people who are like that and a lot of those people are people that ain't even did shit to me. That's the fucked up part. Like it's usually
she's
on
talking
some
about
shit.
my exes.
Some of them niggas.
The loyalty.
Okay, so
You know what I'm saying?
now
Stuff
it's
like
mine's
that.
turn, 'cause
Yeah.
this is a deep question.
I really asked that question because I was asking a lot of people that question about 6 months ago because I looked up the definition and it had a word in there that I didn't like, and it was like accept, I guess, what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And so when it said accept to me sound like it's okay that it happened. So I didn't like that part, and so I thought about situations, where people didn't have nothing to do with why certain things happen. How can they accept what happened or feel like it's okay that it happened when it's not okay that it happened? So that's when I got confused and started asking people, like, how do you feel about forgetting? Do you think forgiveness is even real if you can't forget about what happened?
So is it real to you?
I don't think so.
Really?
Because I feel like to forgive somebody, you have to have amnesia.
Well, I don't think that's it, because that's the opposite of an exception. Because the accepting it is different than approving it. It's not being in denial.
Okay.
Because in denial, that's when you have like repressed memories, when you shove stuff down and you don't process it. I think the first, like in AA, the first step is accepting you have a problem. Like a lot of times, I think that is sometimes forgiveness is the first step where you're like, I'm going to accept that this happened. I can't change it. Like, even if it's something somebody did to me, I'm not accepting the fact that I'm not saying it's okay, but I am saying like that was a reality, which is why sometimes, even if I'm forgiving this person, they don't get a spot in my life because that definitely happened, and I'm not convinced it's not going to happen again. So
do you feel like you ever healed from all of those traumas?
Always healing.
You think you healed completely
No,
from
I'm always healing.
Oh,
like,
okay,
you're
okay.
never just
okay.
healed.
Completely?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I'm always
That's everything. Don't you feel like
Yeah.
people? I think we think success is like this infinite. Like there's like boom success.
It's the destiny. It's the journey.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
becoming who you want to be. It's like, no, every single day you're choosing to forgive. It's a process. I feel like all of this shit is a process. I think when we look at it as this finite destination, that's the issue. That's what fucks you up. You know what I mean? You're always going to be just like loving. Shit, I've been married for 16 years. Daily you choose. You feel me? Every day you
and
choose, and that's so
a little
real.
bit of forgiving involved.
Yo,
along the way.
every day. Because at the end of the day, it's like, like when it's a reciprocal situation and you recognize that there's a give and take on both sides. Like I'm not showing up as somebody's favorite every single time. I'm just not. And I have to accept that. You know what I'm saying? Even if I don't, and maybe in my reality, I don't feel like that's what it is, but you just have to be able to not look at it as such a fixed thing. It's just something that's always happening. Yeah. Healing, forgiving, loving, all of the stuff that we have to do to be human and connect with each other is constantly evolving. And I just think, again, patience is one of those things that we have to have with other people because you want them to have it with you. You know, we're not always showing up being the best. So, like, if your kids ever look at you and say, well, you know, or I'll use myself because I'm not trying to put that on you or anything. But, like, if my kids ever look at me and say, like, well, you didn't do this thing and I felt like it affected me, I have to accept that that's how they feel. All I can tell you is my intentions. You know what I'm saying? And you get to choose. Maybe you'll be like, I'm out like that. I needed this and you didn't have it. But
because I say this to both my kids, you're going to have to forgive me.
Yeah, period.
I'm going to mess up. Like I'm not going to be perfect, and I'm raising you to be better than me. So you're gonna see a lot of flaws that I don't even see. Like there will be stuff that I'll be able to apologize for, and I'll be like, ooh, because I'll even say this now sometimes, where like if I raise my voice, I'll be like, sorry for yelling. Because I didn't mean to do that, but like, you know, still have a conversation. Like I'm gonna mess up. You'll have to forgive me. It's and the forgiveness is for you. You'll feel better if you just forgive me. Like your life will get better once you realize I'm just some lady who had sex with your dad.
Some lady. At the end of the day, we're just some person. Like that's just it.
And you're the receipt.
Yes, this is right of that actual transaction. Like we're all just people trying to figure it out. So I think that like when I think about people like that, it gives me a little bit more grace for them. And again, like you say, it don't mean you got access to me all the time, but I can move on.
Or ever. Because I can still have that boundary where like, no, I'm like, I don't feel like doing this, but you know what? I've given up on revenge.
Yeah. And then when you read books and you recognize that people had way worse shit happen to them and they are able to move the fuck on. Not that they accept it saying like I would deserve to be born in a war torn country where, you know, it's getting bombed every other day.
That was one of the
shit like that.
Black Panther yet?
Yeah, I did. The two, or
I'm talking
Wakanda Forever.
Yeah, Wakanda Forever.
Don't be
I'm pointing and I'm judging.
I felt it. It was like the hot finger of
Talk about
judgment in my face.
I'm not going to do any spoilers because I've been accused of that, but that is one of the art themes is forgiveness.
Yeah,
and
it's
like
hard.
getting past the impulse for revenge, which is very natural.
Read the book. We're gonna have to talk about Eckhart Tolle's book, New Earth. It talks a lot about that, and it again, like this is why I'm telling you, I have to listen to this book. When I say I have it,
I'm gonna write it down.
In between all the stuff that I'm listening to, I'm almost always listening to this book. Yeah, it'll be up there definitely. I'll make sure you get it. But it's that same thing. It's about like this is the only moment that exists technically.
Not definitely.
So when when you're in a situation where you're interfacing with somebody in which all you see is what happened, it's not happening now.
No.
You know, you have to accept that it already happened, and all you have is right now. So all you have is how you react to what's happening in front of you, and so. Do you let that steal your joy? Do you let that, you know what I mean, affect your reality right now? Because that's the only thing you can actually influence. So it's a hard proposition, friend. I'm going to give you that.
We nailed it.
Yeah, we did, you guys. Well, I guess, you know what? I mean, that we went down the deep end, y'all. We went from the keys, you know what I'm saying, to the kids, to forgiveness. We did all the things.
Yeah, definitely great conversation.
Yeah, that's what we do here, man. We let it guide us. Yeah, it's been a really, really cool conversation. I guess I feel like we should take a break. Should we take a break real quick? Let's take a quick break.
Wee break.
We'll take a break, guys, and then we'll be right back.
Woo, yeah, that was a productive
for
break.
You know, the editor and whatnot. All right, guys. So we're back from the break. Wow, this has been nice.
We got a lot done.
We did. This has been a super nice conversation. Like, just flowed. You know what I mean? I feel like we're really friends now. Like, we've been knowing each other for years and whatnot.
Definitely.
Super
fellow
cool.
podcasters.
Yeah, man. So I think this is my favorite part about it. Is literally just the connecting with people, having real conversations and stuff like that. And so, before we let you go, I did want to give you an opportunity to shout yourself out. Let the people know once more where they can find you and what you've got going on.
Okay. So my name is Damon Hicks. Once again, you can follow me on Instagram at I am Damon. Said it again, I am Damon. And you get my book on Amazon, Keys to Elevate, Damon Hicks. You can find that on Amazon. You can find my podcast. It's called Over the Top, OVERTHA, not THE, THA, Top, on Apple Podcasts, Amazon, and Spotify. And yeah, just join my journey. Come see what I'm doing. You can inbox me. I'm real down to earth, real cool. I'll inbox back. I'm not bougie.
Not yet, y'all. That's to come later, right?
But yeah, and y'all guys support these ladies. They're doing a lot of great things, and I appreciate them even bringing me on. And join that Patreon. It's a lot of gems and knowledge that's in there. They dropping a lot of gems and knowledge here. So yeah, thank you for having me on.
A true pleasure.
Yes, anytime, man. You got to come back. We'll have to pick a book and really talk. You know, another book.
Absolutely. Maybe a book we all can read, or a book y'all have already read. I can read it.
I love it. So you guys, y'all know what to do. You know, follow, support, do your thing. Also, you guys, before we get out of here, you know, we have to wait. Are we rating the book? I give it 2 thumbs up, man. I think it was really, or 3. I'm gonna give it 3 stars.
We usually do 5 out of 5.
But
something.
it was 3 powerful chapters.
It was
so
3 powerful chapters.
I damn near want to just give it 3 powerful stars out here right now.
I'm gonna give it 5 out of 5 ounces of forgiveness.
Oh shit. Okay. With the ounce, more bounce for the ounce.
Yeah.
I like it. All right. That's what's up, guys. Yeah, definitely check that out. There's some gems in there. And it's a super easy read. Yeah, I recommend it. Especially if you are like a reading training wheels person. Like you ain't really out there reading like that. It's a nice little.
But it counts.
But it does count. Even audiobooks count. Mm-hmm. And F anybody who says they don't.
Yeah.
Say that twice.
Yeah.
It don't.
Count.
As long as I got the message.
Say that twice.
Yes, indeed,
Put
indeed.
people in the back.
Because then you're trying to say like blind people don't read.
Right. What you trying to say?
Right. What you trying to say?
Want a problem with our brothers and sisters? Right. Thank you. That's real rude. Y'all rude. Y'all rude out here. So yeah. But thank you again. And I think let's get into our
Stranger Than Fiction
story, y'all.
Roll it.
All right, Cass, so I'm going to let you take the lead on this one this
okay.
week, friend.
So,
Go ahead and get into it.
and this week, Washington Post article reading about how turns out chemical relaxers have been giving Black women breast and uterine cancer. What? Yes. So, you know,
Like
a lot of the women, she's talking about, like, you know, because I think I got my first relaxer when I was 9. Like, do you remember you got a relaxer for the first time?
It might have been before that. Probably like 8.
Yeah,
It was right in that pocket.
Come to find out, it's not. If the smell wasn't telling you, the burning was. It wasn't good for you. So now there's class action lawsuits that I think this one is about L'Oreal, but I think there's other companies that, depending on what damages you have, you can reach out and get some damages. So
collect y'all money.
Yeah, it's really, really unfortunate, but these were really powerful chemicals, and it's something to research before you decide what you're gonna do to your hair. I know it's difficult though, but things are changing, and they're passing laws now where they can't fire you just because your hair is not straight. So,
man, I know
that
the
used
Crown
to be a
Act. Shout out
thing.
to the Crown Act.
Yes,
Shout out
for the
to
Crown Act. Yeah,
Show
it's
up with
very
being Black.
And a lot of times, and especially for people in the medical community, like, you can't even get people to listen to you unless you conform to European beauty standards. So
Michelle Obama just talked about that in her new book, which I can't wait to read, because y'all know I fangirl for Michelle Obama. Her book was so good, but she talked about that, even just like leaving her hair straight when she first was in the White House, because she was like, I don't think America's prepared.
they're not.
They're
not
not
for
prepared
that
to see
tall
my
woman
scalp
and a
in
big
little
old,
small squares with
yeah.
braids in it. Like
Yeah.
they gonna lose their shit.
It was already just enough having Negroes in there.
I know, they were
so
real. They were
having
big
them
mad.
being like extra Black, that would have been like
That's just so crazy that like
it's that
this is
that
still a
white
thing.
comfort and gaze is giving us cancer. And so, yeah, I couldn't have made that up. It's very unfortunate. I think for a while, like, and I don't want to judge anybody who does get relaxers, because I did for
no
years.
judgment.
Like,
Listen,
it's
I
sometimes
want
just
one
something
now,
you-
but it's just terrible for me. I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? Like I would if I wouldn't be.
And like, I have family members who get mad at me because I won't give them relaxers. It's like, you know, I just don't think, and they're cancer survivors,
And their hair's beautiful.
and
like,
it's fine.
it's already
like
fine,
it's
yeah.
already like, you don't need this. Like, so yeah, that's
Now that is stranger than fiction.
that
friend.
is so,
And some bullshit.
I mean, so if you're, yeah, seriously, look
I
it
say
up.
get your money. Get your
Yeah.
money, friends. I'll leave a link in our show notes or whatever
Yes, thank
with the
you, Moni,
article
for-
and
I
whatnot.
really appreciate, and this is a season of gratitude, even though for me
Yeah,
it's not
Thanksgiving
Thanksgiving,
is
it's
coming up.
Indigenous Peoples Month.
Yeah, it is.
But
already.
I still love gratitude. The feeling of gratitude is so linked to fulfillment and happiness. So I'm really grateful for you that you're so diligent with the like administrative part of the podcast, because that's something I don't like doing.
Thank you very much. I can't even help myself. Yeah,
all
no,
worked out.
absolutely. I give too many notes. I think I was like, maybe I should put on the blog feature. It's like, bitch, you in here talking, doing all this extra stuff. Ain't nobody. Just put it'd be so much extra. I do a lot, you guys. I'm extra.
But it's better
So,
than
y'all been here, y'all
nothing,
know.
which is what I would be doing.
Yeah, it's like,
You can
man,
tell because I do the notes for the YouTube. It just says
It's
the
like-
Fab Podcast.
It's like, enjoy your show. Enjoy yourself.
I don't even put that.
Yeah. Listen.
All right, so yeah, that was Stranger Than Fiction.
Stranger Than Fiction, guys. Oh my gosh. All right. Yeah, no problem, friend. Well, shit, I guess that's it. There's only one more thing to do then now.
It is.
We got to spin it.
Spin it.
Sorry, that was loud.
It always
I get
is.
excited. All right, guys. Yes. Okay, so listen, I'm super excited to bring her back. We have Nira Muhammad of Queen Talks with Nira. She's a podcaster. She's out in LA now. I think she's originally from Baltimore, if I'm not mistaken. But we had the distinct pleasure of being on her show, which was super dope. So you guys check her out. We're going to be reviewing a book called Woman Is No Man, which is a novel by, I hope I'm not messing this up. I don't know if it's Etaf Rum. I'm going with that.
All right.
I'm going to say it with cult leader confidence.
There we
Etaf
go.
Rum, okay? That's who it is. That's the book. So we're going to be talking about her show, about the book and all the things all the things that come from it. Yeah, absolutely.
You're going to want to hear it because it is a doozy.
If you can imagine, there's oppression.
There's a little oppression.
There's a little patriarchy in that bitch.
There's a little racism.
Little
too.
racism,
You
little
always
light
used to show
racism
up.
on the side, little garnish
Yeah, a little
racism.
sprinkle.
But we're gonna make it fun somehow,
Yeah.
y'all. We're gonna get through it. But I'm super excited to join
Me
her
too.
again because she is so much fun, so smart. And she's doing great things. So
you're going to want to come back.
You want to come back, you guys. And so we're not
Thank you.
wasting all your time. We're going to let you
whatever.
go here.
This is added to your life.
We're adding abundance. That's
We
right. I let it go at the
lot.
end. I should have kept holding on.
An additional shout out to Tanika and Sharita. Thank you again for being on last week. And their event is this Sunday, November 27th at the Bitwell. Go to Eventbrite, get your tickets. We're going to be there. And also this Friday, I'm going to be at Black Preferred with...
Look at you with stuff to do.
I
ain't going to be to that one, y'all. I ain't going to be
holiday.
there.
It's the holidays.
I got to work the whole week except for...
I might not do anything in December. This might be it. And but yeah, Black Preferred at the platform.
Who's hosting it?
The guy who played Diamond in P
What's
Valley.
his actual name?
Don't do that.
I'm petty.
His name's Tyler, Mr. Tyler.
Tyler LaFancy, no.
Yeah, I don't know, but like,
I know Diamond. Don't
I like
act
the
that.
idea of the dress code. I like an all black. You know, like a
black
all white
is my
party,
favorite
but
color.
yes,
all
it's
black
very
is my
slimming.
uniform for life.
Yeah,
so
I'm gonna try to check that out and have a little fun, have a little turkey, even though it is Indigenous Peoples
Yes,
Day.
I make my kids watch YouTube videos about the real, like what actually happened, and I
AKA
be quizzing them. I'm like,
Mexicans.
"What's the what was the tribe? Was it the Wampanoag?"
Right.
Yeah. I need y'all to know all of that. So
Yes.
anywho, guys,
Decolonize your mind.
Please do, and read a book. Goddamn, you might
Yeah.
learn something.
Or
You
listen
might
to
learn
one.
something, or listen to us talk about books. Better yet,
Yes,
just
if you
join
don't
us.
have the time,
Just
we
join
won't
us.
shame
Like,
you. Listen, we
definitely
get it.
not.
We understand.
Yeah, definitely. So, all right, y'all, let's get the hell out of here.
All right.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Peace.
Before we go, we must give thanks to Urban Nerd for providing our music, and legal services were handled by Trezanae M. Atkins. If you like what you heard, please feel free to join us every Wednesday for another fake-ass book club. Cheers.
Thank you guys for listening. You can check us out at thefabpodcast.com. Please subscribe, rate, and review our podcast wherever you're listening right now. We want to hear from you. Come put it in our life. Thanks again, and until next time, peace, love, and the Fake Ass Book Club. We out.